everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today I am going to be doing a little bit of a update in my COVID journal, and I'm going to use one of the techniques that I learned when I took this Scrap Smarter class, which was through the scraphappy.org, and I'm actually going to make a tip-in. Now today I'm going to be talking about the different individuals that give press briefings that I follow. I have our county health person. Well, she's actually at the next county over, but from one of the bigger cities. I listen to Governor Cuomo. I also listen to the governor from California, and any of the others that are televised, I will listen. I like to compare what each of the state governors are saying versus the federal response. I've got a couple of pictures of Dr. Fauci, Dr. Brex, our governor, and then our health person, Dr. Angazi and Zeke. So I'm just going to be talking about them. And the reason I'm doing a tip-in is that I'm probably going to do a lot of journaling about the different news sources and my feelings on it. So I kind of want it to be private. So I'll be just doing the tip-in with the pictures and maybe like their names below it. And then I'll talk about, do the journaling off camera about, how I'm getting my information through the news. I'm one that likes to get news through multiple sources. I don't just go to one, and so I think it's important to document that. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm still going to cut everything to the same size. So each of these is 4 1/4, so I'm going to go to 4 1/8. And then I'm going to go to 4 1/8 again. And then the height is 8 1/4, so we're just going to do 8 1/8. And the reason I go a little bit smaller is because I want it to be able to open and close easily without getting caught in the spine. And so let's see, maybe about right here. And let's put the scrap pieces away. Now the reason I picked this paper, one, it came from that Hit Kit collection that I had bought back in May, and I'm trying to work through it. And then also I like that on the other side it had this striped paper. So this will be on the outside like this, and when I tip it in, I will have the place to do all my journaling. So I'm going to put those there. Now the way you do this is you have to score, I believe they scored like a 1/2 inch in, and that's what I'm going to do. Now if you don't have like the Martha Stewart scoreboard or one of the other scoreboards, you don't really need to. All you need is a trimmer that has the groove. And so I just take my bone folder, and I'm just going to push my bone folder into that groove. And I'll go back one more time. And this works pretty good for me without having to go in and dig out another tool. And now I have the score. And now I'm going to do it again on the other side. So again, I'm putting it at the 1/2 inch mark, and you just have to run slowly to make sure that you're in the groove. And I'm just going to run the groove through. Now these also come with a black blade, which is actually your scoring blade. I'm sure it's in my drawer somewhere. I don't know exactly where, and I'm not going to sit there and hunt for it. I've just found that doing that with a bone folder is just a very easy way to score and not, worry about having to grab extra tools. So off camera, what I also did was I took some plastic wrap and Heidi Swap Color Shine in Mustard. And I did, you can see there's a little bit of shimmer, and I just did the smushing technique off camera so that it would have time to dry before I came and scrapped with you. And then the other thing I'm going to do, which is what they taught in the Scrap Smarter, is I am going to use score tape to glue this down. Now if you have the red line tape, you could do that too. This is pretty strong stuff that I get at the Scrapbook Expo. It's by Suk Wang. I got one of my hairs on there. I'll get that later. So I'm just going to run that along that strip right here. Whoop. On each side. And this is what they used when they did the class as well. And that class apparently is still available. I'm not sure for how much longer. So if you're interested in it, there was a lot of really good designers. I know, like Victoria Calvin, Chamel, gosh, who else? Sarah Scraps, Christina Sorage, Vicky Booten. There was quite a few. There was like 9 in all. And I know I'm forgetting a lot. Tracy Reed. They all taught the different lessons. And so, yeah, just check it out if you're interested. Obviously, it won't be the live event like we had, but you can still see the interaction. They do a Q&A, and then they also do the class. So those are still available, but not for much longer. So if you're interested, go over to the scraphappy.org. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. And again, if you had something that you felt was going to have a lot of interaction where you think people were going to be flipping it a lot, you might want to use the red line tape, which is a little bit stronger. For me, this is, you know, more of a personal journal, so this is going to be good enough for me. And see, so you can see how it tips in. So let's go ahead and get this one on. And I'm just taking it to the edge, gluing it down. And then you can see that there is a little bit of a gap here, and that allows me to be able to tip it in and out without getting it caught in that center. Now this is a little bit flimsy, but once this other side is decorated, that's going to make this even sturdier like the rest of the book. See, these pages are pretty thick by the time you have it on both sides. So that is what my layout's going to look like. Now I thought I would go ahead and put these pictures on white cardstock, and that I would just leave a little bit longer of a border at the bottom where I could go and put their names. And then, like I said, on the inside is where I'm going to talk about each of the different areas and the communication we get. So let me grab some white cardstock here. And I'm trying to use up some of my 8.5 by 11 paper and stuff too. So let me grab a sheet of that. And my trimmer. Alright. So hopefully everyone's having a good Labor Day weekend. I just got done with, well, it's kind of done. As done as it's going to be. How's that? That's real clear. I was, if you watched my Friday freeze, I've been going and taking ribbon off the spools, and then I've been, after I have them off the spools, I just wind them into little bundles, and then, sorry, I gotta think and cut at the same time. Yes, I was putting them into little spools, and so here's how you can see I have a little bit extra on the side. I'll trim that down a little bit. And that's more than enough for me to write Dr. Fauci on the bottom, and then have his name on there. So anyways, I went and I was following Janet from RTS, where she goes and she did that with all of hers. And I wasn't sure, like after I had them all bundled, where I would end up going and putting everything. And I ended up having room for everything but the pink and purple. I was able to go and put into my color drawers. So now when I go into my color drawers, I can find my enamel dots, my die cuts. I have like photo corners, things like that are all crooked. They're all, that one I didn't do very long, but it's too bad. These only cut so much, and or they're sticker backed, so once it's kind of cut, but I can write small. Anyway, yeah, so I was able to go and bundle up a whole bunch, and I had just your regular waste can of, you know, like that fits like a plastic grocery bag kind of thing. I filled up 3 bags of those cardboard innards, and I was able to empty out. I showed them on my freeze. I had 8 of these that were filled, but they were buried in my closet behind stuff, and I never went into the closet to get it. I was able to take all those off and then get those into my color drawers. So now when I go to pull the color drawer, they're going to be right there where I can see them, and it will remind me to use them. And then the ones that were theme related, so like I had some that were had said baby girl on it or baby boy on it, those I was able to go and put into the pocket folders that I have that have like all the baby embellishments in them. So they're with the themes. So now when I go to do a baby page, those ribbons will be in there and remind me, hey, you got these, and try and use them. And then I forgot, back years and years and years ago, probably even before I got married, and I've been married for 35 years, one of the first crafts that I ever did was cross-stitching. And there had been a local craft or cross-stitching store by my home growing up. And I had, you know, done it a few times. My sister was a little bit better than I was, but I still had all the floss. And occasionally I will break stuff out and do a little bit of stitching on layouts, but not like tons. But you know, every once in a while you throw it in, and or use floss to tie it on a tag and things like that. So anyhow, I was able to go and I found that box of old floss, and I found a bunch of floss that wasn't on the little bobbins. So I spent all day yesterday, I had the day off, winding floss onto bobbins. And so now they're all in one place where I keep my twine, so that again, it will kind of remind me that, you know, when I go to tie twine on a tag, oh, by the way, you have all this floss, maybe do a little stitching, you know, or you can even take them apart. If you ever watch Missy Whitten, she is really good about going and using her floss or her thread for on her layouts and stuff, and it just adds a little pop-up texture. Well, you can do the same thing with floss. They have 6 strands on a skein, and what you can do is you can take those threads apart. So if you don't want anything that's thick, you can go ahead and pull it apart and use just a little bit less thread. well, I can do the same thing that Missy Whidden does, and I can then take it and tuck it here and there under layers and give it a little bit of extra texture and dimension. So now they're more visible, hopefully, where I can use them. So that was my progress for that. And then when I got my new furniture in my room, I put a lot of stuff in my spare bedroom. I don't know how you guys are with putting stuff to the, making piles other places. So that's what I did. And I ended up, I still have stuff on our spare bed. And my goal this weekend before Monday's done is to have that bed cleared off. So I did put a few things away from there. So it made me happy. Okay, so I have 2 pictures of Dr. Fauci. And I think I want to put one of Dr. Fauci in here. This one's not as good. So I think I'll put this one in here. And yeah, so it was kind of a good little project. It reminded me of what I have in my stash, so you may see me breaking out the threads and the twines and the trims, as they call them, and trying to incorporate them more into my layouts. And then I'm thinking, because I've been trying to debate on what I wanted to do for this month, and I think I'm going to make it like a scrap timber, where I scrapbook everything. Now Dr. Fauci is looking this way, so I want him there. Dr. Brex is kind of looking the other direction, so maybe I'll go, since they're federal, I'll put them there. Then I have the Illinois. I'll switch him. And then Governor Cuomo isn't my governor, but he's been on the news a lot. But she's looking more that way. So I'm thinking that's the order it's going to go. So let's go ahead and glue them down. And I'm sorry, I probably have you off camera. And I do. Let me get you back in frame. There we go. I gotta keep remembering that you guys can't see it if I push it away from me or pull it towards me. So then the other project, along with getting my stuff clean and getting a couple videos made, I'm really wanting that spare room clean. I've got to make a couple masks. I tore apart my husband's car. He said he looked and didn't find my mask. So this afternoon I went in there. I found it. So I've got my mask back, which makes me happy because I really liked it. And I don't know if, here I can show you what it looks like. It's a double-sided mask. Where is it? So it's the sunflowers on one side and like a gray with polka dots on the other, and it's like yellow and gray. So I really like this mask, and I'm like, oh, I lost it. So now I've got new stuff cut. So my spare is going to be, I have kitties on one side, but it's going to have the buffalo check on the other. And then I've got one that I'm going to do just straight buffalo check, and then I'm making grandkids the crayon ones. And I've got to make one for a mask for my mom. We just want spare masks that we can throw, use, so that we have one for the laundry and one to use. So, and then I've got some disposable ones too that I can use in between, but I prefer not to waste and mess up the environment with all these masks and stuff like that. So I kind of like the ability to wash it and rewear it again. So I'm going to break the sewing machine out probably tomorrow. So that's my plans for the weekend. Oh, I was going to talk about September. Anyways, September, what I'm thinking I want to do is do all scraps, because as I was putting stuff away in my color drawers, I have one of those, I have two of those carts with the 10 drawers that they sell at like Michael's and stuff. And so I have color coordinated scrap paper in one cart and then all of my embellishments in the other. And so I'm just going to grab some of these and see what I can put in here. So anyways, I went and maybe the world, because this is affecting everybody. It's a world pandemic. Let's put that. I can have it fold. There we go. Yeah, so anyway, so I went and I saw how much I've got in there, and I'm thinking I really need to get some of it used up. Kind of like this, because this is kind of the colors. So maybe we can just put a little rip of it here. I don't want to cover up the bottom too much because I am going to write their names. I'll probably off camera look them all up just to make sure I spell them all correctly. Maybe I'll put one on the inside with Dr. Fauci. Like that. Okay. And let's see what else. I like the word remember. And I like the word today. So maybe I'll do the word today because they do briefings every day. And I'll do the word remember because I want to remember who the people were that were giving us our information. And kind of like these. Maybe I can just put these on the inside. Maybe line these up. Yeah, so that's kind of my Labor Day plans. It's kind of nice. Oh, and then today, we live in a small town, and on 4th of July, our neighbors has a friend who has a concession stand. Well, they've been kind of hit hard because of COVID and all of the like state fairs and county fairs and all those little events that they would normally sell their funnel cakes and stuff at have been closed. So anyways, they went and they have in town on our main street, they have their funnel cake cart up. And so I went on lunchtime. In our town, we can also drive our golf carts. Love it. So my husband and I, since we don't camp anymore, we brought our golf cart home, and we went and drove our golf cart over to where they had their stand set up, and went and had a cheese curds and nothing healthy for you today. It was kind of fun. And a corn dog for lunch. So that was my exciting Labor Day. So if you like funnel cakes and all that stuff, yeah, that's what we had going on. This where I have it folding is starting to come up because these are just like really thin stickers that you'd use for your notebook, and so it was coming up, and I was kind of hoping there would be like one word. I mean, I could do the big remember this diagonal and then write my journaling around it. Or I could do it like this. Don't do that. I'm just going to go on a big angle. This is remember this, across the middle, and then I'll just do my journaling on here. Because again, I have the side I'll have in here, and then I can just write about each of the different people who do our updates. So the lovely thing about these is that we don't have to do anything tricky. Happy home, happy heart. I kind of like that. I don't know if I could get this one to come back up again. No. What if I put it over it and then have the flower coming out from behind, because we all had to stay home? There. I like that, because they were the ones that are giving the updates and putting us on our quarantines, and so this would have been back in the time, you know, giving the updates and letting us know when we can come out of our homes. Yeah, so the fun thing about these Project Life, you know, you just use what you've got. You don't have to really overthink. So here it is. I think it's a neat page. You know, it's a world pandemic. I was going to title this, you know, The Players or something like that. Or I could go The Experts. Let's see if one of them's got letters that I can spell the experts. This has got in blue. Let's see if this will match. The pink is too bright. Let me just see if I've got one other one with letters in it, because I just wanted to say experts or the experts. That's too bright. That's just washi. It doesn't have any. I don't think. Oh, this one's got pink. Let's see if I can spell out the experts with this. And this is a more subtle words or letters. See. Yep, I think I've got it. So let's go with I'm thinking if I do the word the experts. Or I could do daily briefing. That's kind of more. Let's see if we got enough to do daily briefing. I'm not going to push them down because I'm not sure where I want them. And I'll probably want to put a little ATG behind it. Yeah, these aren't the stickiest of letters, so it's going to need a little ATG or quick dry adhesive behind it. Especially since these are not going to be in a page protector and that you'll be flipping them. It just needs a little bit of extra backup. And yes, daily briefings. So I'll move the daily over here. I'm not going to do it right now because I need a little ATG. So what I do when I have these kind of letters is I just run a small strip of it, because the nice thing about ATG is if you put it where you don't want it or you have extra on there, you can just roll it back and it will roll right off. So if I have too much on here, and it looks like I don't even have enough, but you can always get it off, and it does hold your letters down really good. So like right here I have just a little bit extra, and if I rub it back, see how it gums up, and now it's gone. But my letters will stay on here better than if I didn't put anything under them. So I'm going to bring these up. Just use the back of my hand. I'm going to have to double check the word briefing because it's not looking right. I before E except after, I think it's going to be like that, but I'll check it off camera. So if you see later it's fixed, it's because I spelled it wrong. And my little encyclopedia is on my phone that I'm using to film. But I believe it's IE. But like I said, after I turn the camera off, I'll relook, and if I'm wrong, I'll switch that I and that E. It looks wrong. It looks like it's supposed to be EI. And a little bit extra that I'll roll back. And that's it. So off camera, I will double check my spelling because I really think it's supposed to be EI. It just doesn't look right. Now neither one looks right. So off camera, I'm going to double check my spelling and do my I before E except after C, and words that sound like way and nay, which makes me believe it's I before E, but anyway, I'm rambling. So this is how my layout's going to be. This is again all of the people I get daily briefings from, and we'll just do our journaling. I'm going to put their names below each of the pictures, and again, double check their spelling, and then I will just do some journaling about the briefings and where I got my information from and things like that. But this is how you do a tip-in. You can do it very easily, and like I said, this side is very much, it's a little stiffer because it's got the decorations on this side. Once this side gets it, this should tip in a little bit better because these are thinner pages. But there you go. I want to thank you for joining me. I should be up tomorrow because tomorrow's the 6th, and it's my intent to try and get a video up for the 6x6. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.